In the small town of Ugvuta, where red dust clung to feet and hope was measured in patience, Amara believed love was something you watered until it grew. She sold roasted groundnuts by the roadside, waking before dawn and sleeping long after the moon had climbed high. When she met Kunle, he was full of dreams. Dreams of education, success, of becoming someone respected. Amara did not mind. She paid his school fees little by little, skipped meals so he could eat well, and stood proudly beside him when others laughed. To her, love was an investment, and Kunle was her future. Kunle accepted her help with soft words and grateful eyes, but deep inside him, pride wrestled with dependence. Each time Amara paid a bill or solved a problem, it bruised his ego. Still, he swallowed the shame because poverty leaves no room for pride. He promised her marriage. He promised loyalty. He promised honor. At night, when the village slept, he dreamed of leaving Ugwuta behind, of city streets, tall buildings, and crisp suits. He dreamed of a life where people respected him without knowing his past. In those dreams, Amara was always behind him, clapping. He told himself her sacrifice would not be in vain. Yet a small voice whispered that once he rose, he would no longer belong to her world. Years passed, and Kunle finally crossed into the city like a son returning from exile, with hope in his pocket. Amara remained in Ugwuta, still selling groundnuts, still sending money whenever Kunle called with urgency in his voice. She celebrated his first job as if it were her own promotion. She boasted about him to neighbors, saying, "My husband is becoming a big man." Even when his calls grew shorter and his visits fewer, she defended him. "Success is busy," she said. Amara measured love not by attention, but by endurance. The city reshaped Kunle. New friends, new clothes, new women who smelled of perfume and spoke English with confidence. For the first time, people respected him without knowing his past. Amara's calls began to irritate him, her village accent, her reminders of sacrifice, her expectation of loyalty. He started sending less money back and giving excuses. In his mind, he had outgrown her. He convinced himself that what she did was kindness, not sacrifice. And kindness, he believed, did not deserve a lifetime of gratitude. Slowly, shame turned into resentment. One morning, Amara traveled to the city unannounced. She imagined surprise, laughter, and plans for marriage. Instead, she found Kunle at a restaurant, laughing with a woman dressed in silk. When she called his name, the room fell silent. Kunle's face hardened. He introduced her not as his sponsor, not as his lover, but as someone from his village who didn't understand boundaries. Laughter followed. Amara felt her knees weaken. In that moment, every sacrifice she made rose like a lump in her throat. She left without shouting because dignity was the last thing she owned. Kunle watched her leave and felt relief, not regret, in front of his colleagues and the woman he wanted to impress. Denying Amara felt like survival. That night, however, sleep refused him. Her silence was louder than anger. Still, he married the city woman and cut ties completely. When he heard rumors that Amara had fallen ill, he ignored them. A man running from his roots never stops to look back until the ground beneath him begins to shake. Amara recovered, but something in her changed. She stopped waiting. She turned her pain into wisdom, helping young girls in Ugwuta learn trades so they would never sponsor a man into forgetting them. The elders said the ancestors favored her because her heart remained clean. Peace found her again, not through marriage, but through self-respect. In African folktales, women who survive betrayal often become pillars, not victims. Amara became one. Kunle's fall came quietly. His job collapsed under scandal, his marriage dissolved in bitterness, and friends disappeared. With nothing left, he returned to Ugwuta, only to find Amara thriving without him. Shame finally sat where pride once lived. The elders said, "A man who eats from a woman's sweat and spits on her will one day choke on his own pride." Kunle learned too late that success without gratitude is a curse, and so the story spread, warning generations that betrayal always remembers the road back home.